Welcome to Puerto Rico English News, the only English-speaking broadcast of local Puerto Rican news and entertainment. Please subscribe. Keep us alive.
Wednesday, March 2nd, the Police Bureau announced that it arrested 8 people and seized an alligator and different controlled substances during a drug bust in 3 residential areas in the municipalities of Arecibo and Manatí. Manuel Rodriguez, 50, was arrested in Arecibo with a bag of crack cocaine, a bag of heroin. A Toyota Yaris was also seized from him. Meanwhile, in Manatí, Puerto Rico, another 6 people were arrested and an alligator was seized. The animal was delivered to Natural Resources Department of Arecibo, Puerto Rico. Among the evidence taken, the police listed 42 bags of marijuana, 45 bags of cocaine, 48 crack capsules, cash, 4 vehicles and 29 bags of crack, among other substances. Finally, in the parking area of the Ramon Marine Solar Residential Complex, in Arecibo, 167 bags of cocaine, 37 bags of heroin, 12 bags of marijuana and $28 in cash were seized.
Agents from the Police Bureau arrested 68 people, and seized several vehicles and firearms, during the processing of 11 search warrants for drug trafficking in different residences in Puerto Rico. Arrests were made last week as part of an operation that has been active since October of last year and that has led to the arrest of over 1,500 people linked to drug trafficking and violent crimes. Saturday, March 5th, agents from the Police Bureau arrested 68 people, and seized several vehicles and firearms, during the processing of 11 search warrants for drug trafficking in different residences in Puerto Rico. The arrests and seizures occurred in the El Flamboyant residential complex in San Juan, Lechonera Street, in Loiza, and in the Puerto de Jobos neighborhood, in Guayama, among other points on the island. Agents seized 14 motor vehicles, 9 firearms, a variety of controlled substances and the total sum of $129,160 in cash. Colonel Carlos Cruz, director of the Auxiliary Superintendents of Special Operations, added that the interventions led to the arrest of 58 men and 10 women, against whom bail was set for almost $650,000.
Wednesday, March 2nd, Toa Alta, Puerto Rico, the suspect, Josue Benito Sanchez Gonzalez, 27 years old and known in the underworld as Bor, was arrested at his residence, located in the Palacio del Rio neighborhood, in the municipality of Toa Alta. Most of those arrested are related to contract killings. They were paid a certain sum of money to execute another person. Yesterday we arrested 2 gunmen, one in Toa Alta and another in Loiza. The initiative is aimed at establishing strategies to find these high-profile individuals, through the work of the homicide divisions of all police areas, the Criminal Intelligence Division, and the new Special Operations, stated Colonel Antonio Lopez Figueroa. Josue Benito Sanchez Gonzalez, alleged leader of a drug organization that operates in Rio Piedras, was arrested in one of his residences in Toa Alta, had in his possession 2 $45,000 checks each issued by the Puerto Rico Lottery. According to Commissioner Antonio Lopez Figueroa, possession of the checks and another $12,000 in cash indicates that he moves large sums of money and is somehow laundering money by buying winning lottery tickets. Tireson Pizarra Plaza, pictured above, aka Tito Tyson, is allegedly linked to the murder of Josue Robles Osorio, who was the driver of the mayor of Loiza, Julian Osorio. This crime occurred in March 2019. Both were leaders of criminal organizations in their respective areas of residence. For example, Bor supposedly led several drug gangs in the metropolitan area, while Tito Tyson led a criminal organization in the Villa Canona community in Loiza.
Sunday, March 6th, San Juan, Puerto Rico, the Police Bureau activated a special investigation following the death of a 3-year-old girl in the Luis Llorens Torres residential complex in San Juan, under suspicious circumstances, by order of Commissioner Antonio Lopez Figueroa. According to preliminary information from the police press office, the event was reported as a medical case at 1:20 p.m. through a call to the 911 emergency system. The little girl was taken to the residential medical center, where death was certified. Now it will be up to the Institute of Forensic Sciences to determine the cause of death, authorities said. The mother of the minor alleges that she had been ill in the past few days. However, the authorities observed bruises on the girl's body, so agents from the San Juan Criminal Investigation Corps were mobilized to the scene. Meanwhile, a man who was in the place was arrested because he had an arrest warrant against him for domestic violence. His relationship to the child is unknown.
Saturday, March 5th, while wanted for murder and conspiracy in Canada, the fugitive, who called himself John Williams here, rubbed shoulders with millionaires and politicians and acted as a philanthropist. Connor Vincent Diamante disappeared from Canada in 2011 after being accused of murder, conspiracy and being the leader of a violent gang. However, he was seen in the finest restaurants and clubs in San Juan, exhibiting himself alongside beautiful women, showing off his fortune that no one knew exactly how he had made, and tenaciously approaching the billionaires who had recently arrived on the island, attracted by tax incentives. Diamante would then sell himself as a contact to local politicians. Diamante, who, according to the Marshal Service, lived between Isla Verde and Canavanas, faces charges in Canada for murder and conspiracy to commit murder for events that occurred between 2008 and 2009. A federal judge granted the federal prosecutor's office a period of 60 days for the Canadian government to submit an extradition request to the Federal Department of State.
Saturday, March 5th, San Juan, Puerto Rico, a man was shot by a neighbor during an apparent argument that took place this past Saturday, in the Tortuga neighborhood of San Juan. The preliminary report of the police bureau maintains that Angel Javier Rodriguez Diaz, 61, tried to attack another man with a machete, whose name was not revealed after an argument occurred. The unidentified man took out a firearm and shot him twice in the chest, killing Rodriguez Diaz on the spot. The man who fired a Glock Model 26 subcompact pistol has a license to carry, the police said. The police added that Rodriguez Diaz had a criminal record for violations of the arms law, fraud and domestic violence, among other crimes. For now, prosecutor Fabiola Acaron Portadoria has not announced whether criminal charges will be filed against the man who killed Rodriguez Diaz.
Saturday, March 5th, Liquillo, Puerto Rico, a 27-year-old man was murdered in Liquillo, the police reported. According to a preliminary report, the events were reported at 8:37 p.m. when a call to the 911 emergency system alerted authorities to an emergency. Personnel from the district of Liquillo went to the scene, where they found the lifeless body of Angel Ricardo Perez Torres, a resident of Liquillo. The body had multiple bullet wounds. The police indicated that the deceased had a criminal record for violation, in 2018, of the Controlled Substances Law. Fajardo Criminal Investigation Corps took on the investigation.
Sunday, March 6, Rio Grande, Puerto Rico, a violent death was reported at 2:04 a.m. on Caracol Street in Rio Grande. A call to the 911 emergency system alerted the police to gunshots. Upon arrival, officers from the district of Rio Grande found the body of a man with several bullet wounds. The deceased was identified by authorities as William Pinet Fuentes, 35. Another violent death occurred about an hour later at 3:16 a.m., on Julio Matos Street in the San Jose neighborhood, in Mayaguez, Puerto Rico. According to preliminary information, a man was shot to death. The victim was identified as 26-year-old Irving Espinal Ahmed. The body was found inside a 2004 Nissan that he owned. A residence close by was damaged by several bullet holes.
Monday, March 8th, Mayaguez, Puerto Rico, Judge Hector Lopez, of the Court of Mayaguez, found cause for trial against Bernardo Llama Diaz and 3 other people for the shooting attack against his brother and main executive of Flan Escato, Andres Llama Diaz. Bernardo Llama Diaz, Gustavo Alexis Gonzalez Gonzalez, Rodney A. Santiago Ramirez and Jose Manuel Rodriguez Torres were under investigation. On November 4, they were arrested and bail was imposed of $1.2 million. According to the investigation by the authorities, Bernardo Llama Diaz hired Gonzales for $10,000 on August 2, 2021 to assassinate his brother. On August 2, 2021, when Andres Llama Diaz was returning home from work, Santiago Ramirez fired 22 shots at him with a Glock 40 caliber automatic pistol. Immediately afterwards, Gonzales opened fire with another pistol of the same caliber. The victim of the attack was transported to a hospital by a neighbor and somehow survived, despite receiving multiple gunshot wounds.
Friday, March 4th, Vega Alta, Puerto Rico, a 2-year operation by the federal authorities culminated in the indictment of 20 people who are presumed to be members of an organization that was dedicated to drug trafficking in various parts of Vega Alta. A federal grand jury returned the indictments alleging a conspiracy since 2018, for the transfer of drugs that were imported from the Dominican Republic.
Thursday, March 3rd, San Juan, Puerto Rico, a bail of $100,000 was imposed by a superior judge for Carlos Julian Maldonado Da'Vita, the former director of the Tourism Office of the Municipality of Barcelona, Puerto Rico, after the San Juan Prosecutor's Office filed 3 charges against him for the hit-and-run accident that took the life of Natalia Ayala Rivera. On Wednesday, January 5, the 20-year-old girl died from injuries she received after being hit by another vehicle while changing the tire of her car, in San Juan. Maldonado Da'Vita was tracked by his vehicle and identified as the owner.
Monday, March 7th, San Juan, Puerto Rico. As of this Thursday, it will not be mandatory to wear masks outdoors or indoors except in health facilities, nor will the capacity be limited in venues, and the screening or corroboration of vaccination will end, by order of an executive order from Governor Pedro Pierluisi that makes almost all measures against COVID-19 end.
In entertainment news, after a 3-year hiatus, Disney on Ice is returning to Puerto Rico May 13th to 22nd. Find tickets at Ticketora.com.
The repeatedly delayed Miss World Pageant 2021 will tentatively conclude on March 16th at the San Juan Coliseum. Check at Ticketora.com for availability.
The world-acclaimed musical Mamma Mia will be presented for the first time in Puerto Rico on October 25 to 28, November 2nd and 3rd in the Antonio Paoli Festival Hall of the Santurce Fine Arts Center.
In science news, the Arecibo Observatory Science and Visitors Center will reopen its doors on March 10. There was damage to the radio telescope after the collapse of the Gregorian Dome August 10, 2020. The public, familiar with the majestic dish from films such as Contact and GoldenEye, felt the loss when a steel cable, suspending a 900-ton instrument platform high above the dish, had pulled out of its socket at one end and fallen, slicing into the dish. Originally, the observatory had little to do with astronomy. The Pentagon's Advanced Research Projects Agency funded its construction in the early 1960s as part of an effort to detect and intercept incoming Soviet missiles. Here's your weather chart for the week for the north side of the island. Thank you for subscribing. Please follow us on Facebook for up-to-date weather and information. Search Puerto Rico English News. Or follow the link in the description. Have a great week.